We need to be warriors of love and truth and care. We need to be warriors of love and truth and care. That ascensionist path up the mountain, back to God, back to the source, back to the highest high, back to where we all came from. That ascensionist path up the mountain, back to God, back to the source, back to the highest high, back to where we all came As the empire crumbles, as the empire crumbles, as the empire rumbles, as the empire rumbles, I'm on the road. I'm on the HOPEN road. I've got a lot of hope. And that's what this frequency resonates in with, is hope. So I'm on the HOPEN road. So I'm on the HOPEN road. That's what this frequency resonates in with, is hope. So I'm on the HOPEN road. Completely blew my mind. I didn't see this coming at all. But now we have this corona hoax, which presents this postulate that viruses exist outside the body, that contagions exist, you can breathe them out, and that they will land on different things and affect other people. Okay, if that's true, show me the science. You dig into the research, it's based on Louis Pasteur's germ theory narrative that's only been around for 150 years. And this concept is that germs are or viruses are what causes illnesses, and viruses exist outside the body and they spread and infect people. Well, really the true science appears to be terrain theory, that your body actually creates viruses in order to cleanse the body of the toxic particulates in the body that we're getting from our environment. So I demand due process, I demand habeas corpus, and I demand a fair trial for this corona hoax. If this is true, then put it up in front of a tribunal and let's research, let's study, let's talk, let's think, let's have a conversation about truth. And from my research, we've been lied to. This whole thing is a huge scam. If you're part of that dark army, then you're not part of my tribe. Because my tribe is made of lux and light. My tribe is made of soul and wonder. And my tribe is made of laughing and smiling and hugging and absolutely having respect and gratitude for all other sentient beings are on that same path. That ascensionist path up the mountain, back to God, back to the source, back to the highest high, back to where we all came from. Well, I've made it to the Georgia Guidestones in Elbert County, Georgia. I've been here about, a dozen times now. I only live 25 miles from this area, and I ramble up and down the East Coast a lot. And every time I come back into this area, I come to visit this prophetic, kind of ominous landmark. It's, to say the least, unsettling and creepy in all its connotations. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about the Georgia Guidestones and know a lot of history about them. They've only been here since 1980. And there's a lot of unsettling questions about why they were built and why they're here and what they mean. And I believe it's prophesizing and hiding in plain sight another reset. And that's a whole nother topic. I'd like to keep this kind of focused on the intention here, and in this moment in time, which it's coming close to May 1st, it's at the end of April. I'm not really sure what day it is, but I know that my birthday is coming up soon, and I've started a 7-day fast to get ready for my birthday on May 4th. And today is my 3rd day of this 7-day fast. I'm probably going to go longer than that, but for right now, I'm going to keep it simple and just focus on a 7-day journey. We'll see how I feel then, and I'll probably keep going. I've done a lot of fasting over the years, so this is kind of one of the ceremonial ritual sacraments that I do quite a few times a year. I've been fasting on and off for about a decade now. I'm a huge advocate of water fasting and giving the body a break and healing on a physical level, spiritual, mental, soulful, metaphysical. There's all kinds of transcendental and tangible healing elements of fasting, and I'm a huge advocate of it. This is also a moment in time that we've been, I would say, assaulted with some type of agenda happening with this corona hoax. And I call it a hoax because of the overwhelming amount of research and insight that I've garnered from researching the difference between germ theory and terrain theory, and not really realizing it until I looked under the veil and got a handle on this narrative that this conversation's been happening for about 150 years. And there's been a huge debate on the legitimacy of germ theory. and contagions, pathogens, and everything that comes with the official narrative around what a virus really is. It appears that, I know this sounds iconoclastic and unconventional and against the mainstream indoctrination about what we think an idea is, but it appears that a virus is actually a good thing, and that the body actually manufactures and creates viruses in order to cleanse the body. It creates a solvent around toxic particulates that's coming from genetically modified foods, neurotoxin inhibitors in our water, and raining down from us through geoengineering and chemtrails, from toxic particulates in our food, in our drinking supply, in our environment, and we're literally being assaulted with all kinds of poisons coming from industry and food and medicine from big pharma, and now more than ever from the radiation pollution that we're being bombarded with this new 5G tech grid, which appears to be military grade 60 gigahertz technology that's slamming our bodies and inundating our environment with electromagnetic pollution. Off here to my right is an enormous new tech tower, completely outfitted with all the new technology, and it appears that that actually might be in part what the coronavirus is. You can see it behind me. It's looming over the landscape, and when you start noticing these tech towers, you start seeing them everywhere. And you can see that one in the background there. There's hundreds of thousands of these scattered all over the place. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. So I think what's happening with this whole corona hoax is that we are being inundated with poisons and toxins and things that are causing us to be sick, and it appears to not be coming from this phantom virus, but just from the terrain, from the unhealthy environment that we're living in, from all the toxic particulates that we're bringing into our body. And they've taken advantage of the fact that it's flu season, and every year hundreds of thousands of people die across the earth plane from the common flu. They're taking advantage of and piggybacking off this flu season, and they basically weaponized this false narrative of the germ theory, and they're pushing this fallacious and false concept that a virus and a pandemic or a plandemic or a panicdemic has attacked us, and that we need to take all these insane precautions like social distancing and wearing face masks and self-quarantining and heralding in all kinds of new social norms that appear to be just an assault on our freedoms and our sovereignty and our right to choose about what narrative that we want to stand behind. I've always looked for truth in all disciplines of research when it comes to artificial intelligence, and AI, the Internet of Things, from genetically modified foods to all kinds of other topics concerning health, from something as iconoclastic and divisive as our cosmology, whether we live in a heliocentric or a geocentric Earth realm, on all kinds of false flags and false narratives around geopolitical activities happening, from 9/11 to all the other demonstrably suspicious official state-sanctioned narratives around politics, around the divisive elements of state philosophies, whether you're a cuck or a MAGA, and how these things are put in place to divide us all and to keep us all from being united in part of some sovereign community of people that are seeking truth and wisdom in the search for truth and the search for getting a handle on our cultural amnesia. In the last few years, the Tartarian Empire, the fake history, and the cover-up and the reset of this golden era of Tartaria via researchers like Anatoly Fomenko, the New Earth Channel, Conspiracies Are Us, John Levy, Martin Ledke, Autodidactic, Philip Drews-Hinnon, Static in the Attic, etc., etc. If I left out dozens of other researchers, forgive me, but I'm following you. If you're covering Tartaria, I know about you. And now, right when the floodgates of our true history have been presented to us with overwhelming evidence to suggest that we're living on the carcass of some beautiful, stunning Tartarian culture that was building monolithic structures that were based in antiquitech and free energy, extracting etheric energy from the source. Incredible buildings that resonated with the Schumann resonance and cymatic science and sound frequency, sound healings, star forts, and incredible cathedrals built all over the earth plane. It appears that only 150 to 200 years ago was this incredible, stunning culture based in logos, in love, in care, and a connection to the source. And we're living on the carcass of this old empire. You can see remnants of Tartaria everywhere. It's all over. And if that's true, if these pricks at the helm that took down Tartaria are still in charge, what does that mean for this era? And what does that mean for these Georgia Guidestones behind me? It says to maintain humanity at 500 million. If the statistics on the world population are correct, which I find them suspicious, that's 90% less than the world population. And if this ultimate eugenics campaign of attacking us on all fronts with toxic particulates and pollutants and all kinds of things that are affecting our health in really dramatic ways, making us sick and weak and divided and unfocused, and we've forgotten who we are and what lineage we come from, if we have amnesia about who we are. And you know how easy it is for them to reset this new system? I think that the real elephant in the room, to use that metaphor, is a cyborg elephant, an artificial AI elephant, and that what they're really heralding in is transhumanism, and that if we're not careful, they're going to reset the new this old system, or the present era, and they're going to reboot it with the rise of Homo tech and Homo sapien, and this long, beautiful, rich lineage of the sentient being who's been de-evolved, not evolved, but de-evolved from the source, from God, that we're under threat, and that there's a strong possibility that this might be the end of Homo sapien and the rise of Homo tech. All the writing on the walls, all the writing on this Georgia Guidestones suggests that there's going to be the rise of Homo tech. And to me, if that doesn't send shivers through your entire being, then you must be a deadhead. You must not be breathing or living or be connected to love or care for the human condition. And the human condition right now is in dire straits. They've put the noose around our neck and are getting ready to destroy everything that's beautiful and wonderful and stunning and magnificent and divine in this earth realm that we live. This agenda to collapse the world economy, to herald in this Orwellian agenda to bring in this new police state and all these new social norms, and to collapse the currency, to herald in e-currency and cryptocurrency, bitcurrency, etc. The technocratic police state that's coming very fast, if it's not already here. The push to establish 5G and to have the IoT, the Internet of Things, put in place to data mine and database and control and harness every facet of the human condition is here. And the luxury politics and the vanity politics of the radical left and all their silly agendas and all their silly demands is over. No one gives a fuck about them anymore. Everyone is so full of fear and anxiety about just surviving that the death blow to the left has finally happened. And all I see is a huge backlash and everybody basically turning on all that insanity. But from my experience with that is this. I was attacked without the honor or the dignity that you would give to anybody to provide a fair trial, to provide habeas corpus, a due process for the truth. Shouldn't all narratives be given the right to due process? Shouldn't every conversation, every theory, every paradigm, every postulate be vetted? Shouldn't it at least demand habeas corpus? And if that's the case, if you actually put up in front of the tribunal the difference between heliocentrism and geocentrism, geocentrism overwhelmingly crushes the heliocentric model. An overwhelming, unbelievable amount of real, true science destroys the fake pseudoscience of the heliocentric ball model. At the same time, the false narrative that you can actually harness consciousness and put it into a flash drive and turn it into ones and zeros into some binary code, and you can upload it into some cyborg AI artificial intelligence, and that you can live forever. So the same materialistic reductionist scientism that's pushing this false narrative of artificial intelligence actually says that they can capture consciousness and boot it up into AI. It's a false narrative. There's absolutely no proof. It's theoretical nonsense. Just like most of the science that they're pushing, from the superstring to the simulation theory to quantum physics, it's all based in theoretical nonsense. It's not actually based in real, true science. Transcendental science, which is the real science, overwhelmingly suggests that consciousness exists independent of the body temple, and that consciousness transcends the body when you die. You can use all kinds of other unbelievable transcendental skills we have, from clairvoyance, telepathy, to astral projection, to all kinds of subtle energy phenomena that suggests that there's much more to this riddle than the false narrative of materialistic science that says that consciousness does not exist outside the body. Consciousness is infinite. We're conscious, living, breathing, sentient beings that have devolved from the source. It can be proven. It's not pseudoscience. The real true pseudoscience is artificial intelligence, promising you immortality by harnessing your consciousness and putting it into a fucking flash drive. Again, we're putting this up in front of the tribunal. We're vetting the information on both sides, and we're leaning towards the truth. Another one. All the false flags. I'm not even going to go down the list of them, from the Gulf of Tonkin to 9/11, to the World War IIs, World War I, all the different world wars, all the different false flags happening with the Boston bombing, Sandy Hook, and all those different, mass shootings. This is the new boogeyman. This is the new terrorism. The new terrorism is this coronavirus. But again, the idea is that when you actually look at the information and you have your dark night of the soul, there's overwhelming proof to suggest that directed energy weapons and Judy Wood's unbelievable research showing that what took down the buildings on 9/11 was directed energy weapons. They were dustified. The day after the buildings went down on September 12th, 2001, there were no buildings. It was just dust. Where's the 40 stories of debris field? Can't we talk about this? Again, due process. That's all I demand. Give me due process to prove the false accusations against me, and I will win in a court. But the statute of limitations is gone. It's come and gone, and I just have to get on with my life. The statute of limitations on geocentrism versus heliocentrism has come and gone. We all know, people who know the truth. Everyone else still believes they live on a spinning ball. Most people appeal to the science and to artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and to this 5G tech grid coming, and they don't question it. And then, how about Tartaria? How about our fake history? How about the unbelievable amount of evidence to suggest that the official story around the peer-reviewed anthropology and the historical timeline presented has been completely crushed with researchers like Anatoly Fomenko and all the other amazing researchers that have suggested that we're living on the carcass of this old empire called Tartaria. You see it everywhere. You see mud flood buildings everywhere. You see beautiful, unbelievably stunning structures that there are no way that we could even build them today. Tartaria is a real legitimate research, a real legitimate discipline to focus in on. And now, completely blew my mind. I didn't see this coming at all. But now we have this corona hoax, which presents this postulate that viruses exist outside the body, that contagions exist, you can breathe them out, and that they will land on different things and affect other people. Okay, if that's true, show me the science. You dig into the research, it's based on Louis Pasteur's germ theory narrative that's only been around for 150 years, and this concept is that germs are or viruses are what cause illnesses, and viruses exist outside the body and they spread and infect people. Well, really the true science appears to be terrain theory, that your body actually creates viruses in order to cleanse the body of the toxic particulates in the body that we're getting from our environment. So I demand due process, I demand habeas corpus, and I demand a fair trial for this corona hoax. If this is true, then put it up in front of a tribunal and let's research, let's study, let's talk, let's think, let's have a conversation about truth. And from my research, we've been lied to. This whole thing is a huge scam. The gravity of the situation, pun intended, there is no gravity, is that the dark night of the soul that we're all going through is based on a false postulate that the germ theory is actually legitimate. And you can do incredible, unbelievable research on the overwhelming and impressive debate happening between germ theory and terrain theory, which has been going on for 150 years. And now, thanks to the research community and the truth community and the people that are actually trying to vet the truth, that actually believe in a fair trial and believe in habeas corpus, are putting this narrative up in front of the tribunal, and it's falling apart at close scrutiny. It's crumbling in on its own footprint, and there's no such thing as germ theory. It's a big fucking lie. And it just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind that they're absolutely were able to have to collapse the world economy and to herald in this new technocracy and this new police state based on a lie. So I charge you. I dare you to do your own research, to unplug from Netflix, to stop eating, to stop partying, to stop hiding out in your home, to take your face masks off, to go out into the sun, to talk to your friends, to shake their hand and give them a hug, tell them that you love them and that you miss them and you want to bring the community back together. And in the meantime, to do research, to go online and type in the debate happening between germ theory and terrain theory, and to spend a few weeks and vet the information. There's all kinds of amazing researchers, from Dr. Andrew Kaufman, to David Crow, to the infectious virus. I'm following and researching all kinds of people. The Fullerton Informer, Sophia Smallstorm, Jamie Lee from A Plain Truth, Never Lose Truth. There's so many other ones that I follow, and if I left you out, I apologize, but it's daunting, the amount of information out there. And this is not only a debate happening right now, this is a debate and a conversation that's been happening for over 100 years. Just like the debate between heliocentrism and geocentrism, it's been happening for hundreds of years, if not, with that topic, thousands of years, or maybe 500 years since the controllers heralded in their false heliocentric model 500 years ago. And that's a whole nother topic on who the unseen forces are that push that stupid narrative onto us. But again, truth is available. You can vet truth. And I'm a seeker of truth. I'm a seeker of wisdom. I'm a seeker of love and care for the human condition. And what happened to me 2 years ago didn't destroy me. It actually made me stronger. The dark night of the soul I had taught me about these demons that are affiliated with these false narratives that push solipsism and push deception and illusions and lies. It actually just made me it pushed me along on my journey. It taught me lessons I needed to learn. And one of the things that I don't really get behind anything is any statist ideology or statist philosophy that's pushing a rhetoric. So all you statist liberals and lefties and progressives and Antifa, communist asshole pricks, you're all pushing a statist ideology coming from the left. And the same thing can be said about the right. All you people who think that QAnon and Trump are here to save us and he's some kind of messiah, and everybody on the far right, has the same statist ideology of appealing to the narrative of that particular party. So you get this radical left, radical right, and both of them are based on fallacies and lies and deception. I think the only real, true, safe perch to be right now is to just be politically homeless, to be politically neutral, to be an anarchist, to be anti-statist, to be a libertarian centrist. Well, I'm gonna close it here. That felt good to speak freely and to talk about these things that are important to me. And I am in the process too of I'm still tattooing, and I'm still making art, and I'm actually just finished a commissioned piece that I'm delivering to a friend up in the Carolinas, And I'm going to be driving up the coast, up to Maine, to pick my 24-year-old daughter up and to bring her back to the South. So I'm going on this road trip. And I'm planning on staying on the road as much as I can. So if you live anywhere on the East Coast or east of the Mississippi, send me an email. I'll come hang out with you. We'll make art together. We'll talk and laugh and tattoo. We'll extend the tribe. We'll stay unified. And we'll talk about all these topics. We'll talk about how we can come together as a united tribe based in care for the human condition. And will resonate highly right in the epicenter of this grand, mysterious tremendum that we're all involved in. This great riddle, this great magnificent earth plane that we live on. We need to be warriors of love and truth and care. And if you're based in hate and judgment and ego and lust and deception and lies and manipulation, then you're a moral relativist and a Satanist, and you're not welcome at my table. That's the other thing. Satanism isn't about anti-Christian per se, or this false narrative that they're worshiping a devil. One of the first tenets of Satanism is actually the worship of the self. You're worshiping your ego. And that's how they've weaponized the radical left and the radical right, is that it's based in this tenet of moral relativism. And it's simply diabolical. It's evil. And if you're part of that, dark army, then you're not part of my tribe. Because my tribe is made of lux and light. My tribe is made of soul and wonder. And my tribe is made of laughing and smiling and hugging and absolutely having respect and gratitude for all other sentient beings are on that same path. That ascensionist path up the mountain, back to God, back to the source, back to the highest high, back to where we all came from. That's the path I'm on. I'm ascending. I'm lifting the spirit. I'm rising. And with all that stated, I've got to hit the road and travel up the coast. As the empire crumbles, as the empire rumbles, I'm on the road, on the HOPEN road. I've got a lot of hope, and that's what this frequency resonates in with, is hope. So I'm on the HOPEN road. And a good friend of mine recently gave me the nickname of Standing Tree. But I slightly shifted that to Wandering Tree because I like to wander. I like to travel. I'm nomadic, and I like to be on the road. I like to go and hang out and mingle with people all over the place. So you can call me the Wandering Tree. And I'm going to wander back to the HOPEN road.